1,100 plus Palestinians taken as captives by Israel in the West Bank since 7th of October. And we hear nothing about the hundreds and hundreds recently taken captive from Gaza. Long before October the 7th, thousands of Palestinians were captured by Israel and imprisoned, many without trial or charge for years on end. And abuse and torture of Palestinians has occurred for decades in Israeli prisons. And now it is the standard treatment, a shocking norm. But the truth is coming out, and it is an ugly truth.
Israeli Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir is responsible for all Israeli jails. This is what he says about the treatment of captives. In accordance with my instructions, the terrorists receive the most stringent conditions. 8 handcuffed terrorists in a cell, iron beds, toilets as a hole in the floor, and Israel's national anthem constantly playing in the background. We need to remember that our prison guards are dealing with the scum of the earth, murderers who pose a security threat. Amjad Al-Najjar from the Palestinian Prisoner Society said, Ben-Gvir has declared war against the prisoners. The tools of communication are batons and beatings. Death hovers over the prisons, awaiting a decision from the guards to strike any of the detainees.
Amjad is right. Reports to the UN from groups like Adami, Adala and Amnesty International describes the treatment of captives. Physical assault on a frequent basis, enforced nakedness and demanding humiliating acts, threats of sexual violence, and in some cases, actual sexual violence, forced removal of women headscarves, and denial of sanitary products, denial of essential medical attention, food and water, overcrowded cells with no function toilets facilities. All this to the constant backdrop of abusive, dehumanizing language.
Shame!
Shame! Shame!
Mahmoud Katani, a released prisoner, said, on November the 18th at 6 p.m, during the security count, the Israeli prison forces began to break into the room. There were 10 prisoners in the room, and we sat, as usual, kneeling with our hands over our heads and heads down. Suddenly, the forces attacked us for no apparent reason, beating us with batons and kicking us. The beating continued violently.
Mahmoud added, they slammed the prisoner Tahir Abu Asab on the floor and dragged him to a corner near the bathroom, beating him on his head and body for several minutes. Then they exited the room, leaving Tahir covered in blood, flowing heavily from his head. We approached him and realized that his heart had stopped beating. We pulled him to the middle of the room. He had died. We covered him with a blanket and began screaming at the guards for an hour and a half until a nurse, guards and members of the same force arrived in the room. Abu Asab's body was taken away.
Shame!
Lama Khatir is a mother of 5, a journalist and a writer from Hebron. She was arrested and she tells us, I could not have imagined the severity of the situation. I was taken to a military vehicle where I was forced to lie down on the floor, handcuffed and blindfolded. I asked to go to the toilet and to drink water, but the female soldier refused. They claimed not to understand Arabic. I tried English, but to no avail. After an hour of detention, I was allowed to use the restroom and drank water from the tap there. The female soldier refused to allow me to close the toilet door completely.
after making threats against Lana and her daughters that are too horrible to repeat, her interrogator said, "I could go to your house and burn your children while they sleep. Here there are no laws or rights. You're a prisoner of war. And I hope that a government will come that will allow us to do what we want with you."
Fuad Hassan, a 45-year-old father of 5 from the village of Kusra near Nablus, gave his story. The conditions in Megiddo are terrible, impossible to describe. They tried to make me kiss the Israeli flag, and when I refused, they beat me so badly that they broke 3 of my ribs. One other guy from Jabba near Jenin also refused to kiss the Israeli flag, and the prison guards broke his leg and ribs too. When you arrive to Megiddo, they say, "Welcome to hell."
A special base in southern Israel for people taken from Gaza is as bad as it gets. A doctor in a field hospital there describes the conditions for captives as so bad that amputations of hands and even legs caused by the constant use of tight ligatures on all 4 limbs are becoming routine. The way that the captives are tied cuts off the blood supply and causes irreversible damage. Captives are handcuffed, their legs are bound, their eyes are blindfolded, even during the inadequate medical care that they receive. The doctor said that the captives were systematically dehumanized, violating all medical ethics. But the IDF says that it operates, quote, "with extreme care for the human dignity of detainees."
These are just some of the many testimonies coming out of Israeli prisons. When Israel claims it has the most moral army in the world, let's remember these stories, not told in our media, and let's challenge false narratives with the truth. We stand with all Palestinians, and today we especially stand with Palestinian captives held and tortured by Israel in defiance of human decency and international law.
So a chant for today. We stand with the prisoners. 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 We are all Palestinians. We are all Palestinians. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. We stand with the prisoners. We stand with the prisoners. We stand with the prisoners.
That was a good chant, and they pasted in this car. Free, free! Palestine!